the strategy that is applied in Syria, and when it comes to the situation in Syria and the spread of Daesh in Syria as well, again threatening the region and Egypt in particular, what do you think Russia came with in conclusion?
Prior to the visit, both Cairo and Moscow successfully organized meetings related to the Syrian crisis. In Cairo, we organized a meeting between various opposition groups,
which did fail to a certain extent.
Some groups did not attend, but those who attended, this was the first time that such a meeting takes place, and there was an agreement among the participants, the Syrian participants, that they have to work together. That was in Cairo. 3 days later, Moscow organized a meeting between the first meeting. This is the first from 2011. A meeting between the opposition and government representatives, and there will be another meeting. So during the discussions yesterday between President Sisi and President Putin, President Putin briefed President Sisi on the Russian efforts in bringing together the Syrian opposition and the government around a negotiating table, just to agree on a roadmap to find a solution. The other principle the other agreement between Egypt and Russia is that there is no alternative to a diplomatic solution or a political solution to the crisis in Syria that would guarantee both the independence.
But you said they would rather go back to the Geneva Accord.
Well, and President Sisi yesterday said that a political solution based on the Geneva Communique of June 30th, 2012, and allow me to point out that if you go over this communique, you will find out that it was really written in a diplomatic language, and it has no reference whatsoever to the position of the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. There is no mention at all of the president. It consists of 6 principles or 6 steps, one of which is to set up an executive organ that would see the transitional period.
Mr. Ambassador, sorry for interruption here, but we are joined over the phone by Dr. Gamal Al-Ayyubi, the Professor of Energy, to shed more light about the establishment of the power plant of nuclear energy in Egypt. Dr. Gamal?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning,
to you,
sir. Yesterday we have witnessed the signing of an agreement between Egypt and Russia regarding the construction of a nuclear plant for the generation of electricity in Egypt. How do you see that?
Okay, honestly speaking, I think that's one of the positive points that have been added to the Presidential Institute, that right now we go for the execution. And you know well that we have a lot of problems happen in the early beginning, that the military army had set the infrastructure for El Daba nuclear plants, and the situation has been becoming better and better due to the good tackling of the problem and the population across that Daba nuclear plants. When the early beginning, that's really a panic, and the people was not recognized and not accepted to go and they live beside that such plant. I think the Force Army had dealing with that one well, and they already convinced the people, due to in realities they build a new infrastructure for the new buildings they mean. surround the safety area across the population area in Daba. And the situation had been close to finish for infrastructure for the power plants, but the situation was not so okay related to the supplying to continue build the plant. I think the motives and the way that the Presidential Institute towered the solution to get some supporting and some of the updated force generation of the nuclear plants had been already in place after the very good communication happened between Egypt and Russia. The way that the protocol had been done, that Russia will support Egypt for the next campaign to proceed with the first nuclear power plant for electricity created. You know, the acknowledgement and also the technology of the fourth generation power plant, which is have been used many times in many words in Russian, can be supported also to help Egypt in the same such situation. Our plan ahead from that nuclear plant, for the first power plant, it will produce 1,600 megawatts, and this is expected within the first 2.5 years. And our future plan to continue build extra 3 plants, and I think this is in processing to be finalized. In the other way, that we have alternative option, that's in the same time we are dealing to import the coal from also Russia and also from China, and our future to also dealing with the next coal to be used for electricity from power plants. This will help much to reduce the tough crisis in next summer, and in the same time that we have a good deal with Russia, that we are going to also import the gas, compacted gas or gas liquid. This is gas liquid will help also to improve our shortage of the gas, which is seriously needed for the also power plants to produce electricity in Egypt. So 2 things happen: is a nuclear agreement in the protocol, and the second one is to import the liquid gas from Russia.
Indeed, Dr. Gamal Qaryoubi, the Professor of Energy, thank you very much, sir, for your input here.
Back again to Mr. Ambassador now. During the African Union Summit that took place a couple of days ago, possibly almost 2 weeks ago actually, they were talking about recommending Egypt as a permanent seat for the UN representing Africa. And in the UN, of course, there's Russia and the US and China, who have strong positions, usually regarding different cases and situations and files in the UN. How far do you think Russia can also be supporting Egypt regarding the UN seat, if that was possibly one of the issues that could have been discussed?
No, I believe that Russia supports the Egyptian bid to have a seat as a non-permanent member on the Security Council from 2016 to 2017, as well as the Chinese support. Definitely, Russia would exert all its diplomatic efforts to secure a large backing among its friends and allies to Egypt occupying the seat when elections will be held next October in the General Assembly of the United Nations. And I have no doubt that we enjoy full Russian support in this respect.
Mr. Ambassador, ahead of the upcoming economic conference, which is expected to take place resort to Sharm el-Sheikh from the 13th till the 15th of March, to what extent do you believe that Russia could be contributing in that conference in light of investors who are coming to invest in Egypt in the coming phase in different projects, of course?
One of the agreements that was signed yesterday does concern investments. And I believe that the Russian participation in the Sharm el-Sheikh conference next month would be Ashur by a large delegation, and the Russian government, of course, is eager to help us economically and in various fields, particularly in oil and gas, energy, and small and medium enterprises. It seems that that Russia and Russian companies and Russian government or agencies are ready to help us in this. And there is talk about somewhere between 400 and 500 projects in this context. And I guess this is a very promising field because small and medium enterprises do create lots of jobs. So I think that Russian participation, whether on the government level or the private sector level, will be satisfactory. Something else, of course, that is being discussed between the two governments is to use, instead using foreign currencies, we could use local currencies, the ruble, the Russian ruble, and the Egyptian pound to settle commercial deals, commercial exchanges, imports and exports, and the coming of to pay for Russian tourism, paying for services in Egypt in ruble or in Egyptian pound, and that would facilitate economic cooperation between the two countries.
Indeed. Ambassador Hussein Hareidi, former assistant to the foreign minister, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much. It was
my pleasure,
having
ladies.
Mr. Masri. Thank you very much.
Now we'll go to a short break, and after that we'll be back to resume the segments of the breakfast show, so don't go away.